Planet Storytime presents The Fantastic Beast of the Wick. There once was a beast whose wings were large and bright red. Her neck was elegant and long. Her entire body was scarlet red like the feathers of a mature phoenix. She lived atop a mountain alone and would always look over the city, across, under the stars. No one knew she existed. She had to stay hidden, for if anyone saw a beast such as this, they would surely try to capture her. But she always thought she was the last of her kind, and so she was very sad. Night after night, she would go to the cliff of her lair and look over the cities beneath her. She had amazing vision, and so she could see the tiniest details from kilometers away. One night, she heard a cry. She hears cries every night, but this cry was special. It was the cry of a little female human child. Everything inside her screamed, "Don't investigate. Stay where you are. Mind your own business." But she didn't want to. This child needed help. And so she extended her bright red wings and leapt into the air to find the sound. When she hovered over a street, she saw a child in the middle of the street walking and crying, all by herself. The beast swooped down onto the roof above. She was ever so careful so that the child wouldn't hear her and be made aware of her presence. Along the roof she walked, following this child, looking and scrutinizing the child carefully. This little human could not have been more than 6 years old. The child sat down on the sidewalk and cried into her hands. The red beast was touched, and she felt for the child, who was clearly hurting. She arched her neck and projected her voice so that it could be heard right beside the little girl. "Little child, what's the matter?" asked the beast, trying to sound like a human. By the way, she was a fantastic beast. She could do many things, one of which was to emulate human language. The child shot up in fright. "Who's there?" she questioned, afraid. "Don't be afraid, little one. I'm not going to hurt you." "Then where are you? Why are you in the shadows? Come out so I can see you," said the little girl. The fantastic beast could not do this, so she hid deeper into the shadows and said, "I can't do that, for I have a strange beauty, and only a few people who are worthy can see it, but I'm still willing to help you. What's the matter?" The child began to cry again, feeling safe with this beautiful voice that soothed her. "Well, my parents don't want me anymore." "Whatever do you mean?" asked the fantastic beast. "They left me at this place, and then they said that they loved me, but they never came back. And then someone there, he was a little boy like me, he said that they all left me here, and everyone gets left here when their parents don't want them anymore. My parents are never going to ever see me again, and I'm never going to see them again." She cried louder. The fantastic beast, with her red wings stretched, then folded them close to her side, feeling the pain of this child. "Well, what are you doing out here?" "Well, I'm going to find them, of course. I love my parents, and even if they don't want me, I want them. So I'm trying to find them, but I don't remember the way home." The beast felt all the hurt and all the pain this child must have been feeling, for she too was abandoned by her parents a long time ago. However long ago that was, she can't even remember. Now she felt an obligation to protect this little girl. "Little girl, tell me, what is your name?" "My name is Elsa." "All right, Elsa. I will be with you But what I need you to do is to go back to the place where you were. You were being taken care of, weren't you?
Yes, but the kids there are mean.
I understand, said the beast. She crept closer to the edge of the roof to get a better look at the child whose face was hung down. Elsa, I want you to go back to where you were, and I will be with you, I promise. I will help you find your parents.
You will?
Of course I will.
Thank you so much.
Now, do you remember your way back?
Yes.
Good. Even though you can't see me, I will watch over you, said the beast. And so, Elsa made her way back to the place called the orphanage. The beast followed her all the way, being careful so that Elsa would not see her. Every step Elsa took, the beast also took a stride, but she took the utmost care to make sure she remained in the shadows. When Elsa reached the orphanage, she looked up to the sky and into the streets, wondering where that voice had come from. Was it God? Was it an angel? Was it a witch? She's heard of many fantastical things, but whatever it was, she was happy. Elsa woke up the next morning thinking everything that had happened the night before was merely a dream. But she heard that voice again. She peered out the window and saw the radiant sun shining back at her as if it were smiling. Elsa?
It is you! You are real!
Said Elsa. Of course I am.
You're not in here, are you?
No.
Then how is it that I can hear you so clearly?
Said Elsa, looking around her room, for the beast sounded as if she were right beside her bed. Well, that's because I have amazing power. Elsa laughed. Elsa started the day feeling glorious. She no longer felt like she was abandoned, for she had a friend. When she went out to recess that afternoon, she heard the beast's voice again. "What is your name?" asked Elsa. "Oh, you can call me Adana."
"Adana, are we friends?"
asked Elsa. Adana smiled. Little did Elsa know, she was in the bushes, camouflaging, only 5 feet away from Elsa. "Yes, we're friends. You're not so different than I am."
"Oh wow, I've never had a friend before. Not like you."
"I will help you find your parents. Be of good cheer. I'll be gone for a few hours, but I promise you I'll come back," said the beast, who then took off into the air on silent wings. For weeks, Adana, the scarlet beast, she flew the skies in search for Elsa's parents. She was very good at what she did, and it was very easy for her to find out information as she had a particular set of skills. After searching almost endlessly, she finally found Elsa's parents. They were sitting inside a restaurant and dining. They looked very happy. No matter what the reason, shouldn't they be sad that they no longer have their child? This confused the beast. Her eyes narrowed in hurt and disgust, and then she figured it would be better if little Elsa would never see her parents again. She thought it was for the best. She didn't want to have to go back and tell Elsa that her parents were happy without her. Sadly, the beast rose her elegant neck to the sky and leapt into the sky with her wings outstretched, beating them gracefully, and she headed back to the orphanage. When she finally reached the orphanage, she found Elsa. She hid carefully in the shadows at night. Elsa was excited because she knew that the beast had news.
"What is it, Adana? Did you find them? You were gone for a long time."
"Yes, I found out where your parents are. They are no longer here."
"What do you mean?"
asked the little girl. "Your parents, they've passed away." Little Elsa was torn to bits. Her parents couldn't be dead. It couldn't be true. She ran inside the orphanage, crying and wailing. "I'm so sorry. said Adana, but she wasn't just apologizing for the news that she delivered to Elsa, but for lying to her. She felt guilty, but when she remembered her parents laughing because they no longer had their little girl, or whatever it was they were laughing about, she felt resolve that she was doing this for Elsa's own good. Many years went by, and Elsa and the Beast grew very close. They became best friends, and anywhere Elsa went, so did Adana. Adana was so good at talking as though she was right beside Elsa that Elsa soon forgot that Adana was a separate entity. She came to believe that the voice was inside her head. Besides, she's never seen Adana, so how could she be real? Every time she's ever asked the Beast to reveal herself, she refused, although she really wanted to. But the wonderful thing about this relationship is that the fantastic Scarlet Beast was no longer alone. The both of them, who had been abandoned by their parents and had no one to take care of them and to love them, had each other. Adana helped her with homework. She helped her when she talked to her about boys. She helped her even find a part-time job. Adana was always there for Elsa, just like she said she would be. And she made it her mission to be there for Elsa the way her parents had failed to be. One day, when Elsa was at the park, while she and Adana were having a conversation, she saw something. It was a couple, and they were approaching her. "May I help you?" she asked. "Are you Elsa?" asked the woman. "Yes, I am." The woman gasped. "Oh, Elsa! It's me, your mother." Elsa was shocked. She looked at the man, who was also in tears, but said nothing. His mouth hung open in silence. She got up quickly and ran away. Even if those were her real parents, it made no sense. Why would they be? "Adana, what's going on?" The Beast knew that she was in trouble. "Those are your parents, Elsa." "You told me my parents were dead," Elsa said, seething. The only person she had trusted since she was 6 years old had lied to her all this time. She was now 16, and all this time Adana, her best friend, had lied to her. "You told me they were dead." I never want to speak to you again," Elsa screamed. She ran off and put her back to a tree to collect herself, and then she walked back to the couple who were crying and holding each other. "How are you really my parents?" Her mother came up to her and held her shoulders. "Elsa, I remember every day how I had to give you up. Your father and I had to because we had no money. And there were people after us because we owed so much, and they were threatening to hurt us, and we didn't want you to be in danger, so we let you go to protect you. But now we have a booming business, and as soon as we realized that we are sustainable, we came out to find you. I thought you were dead. Why did you leave me? I'm your family no matter what. You should not have left me." "You wouldn't understand unless you have a child," said the father. Elsa was just so happy that her parents were here, but she was also very confused. Her feelings for Adana and her feelings for her parents and them now being alive, it was all too much for her to bear. She cried, she hugged them, she screamed, she laughed. She was so unsure of what emotion she should be feeling. But after, she settled down in her mother's and father's embrace and wept in joy. They walked away with her. Adana, the Beast, watched in sorrow. She flew back to the mountain where she used to reside. She hadn't felt this kind of sadness for a very long time. Of course, when you're lonely, It's depressing, but she had been so happy with Elsa, and she felt a happiness she never thought she'd ever feel again. But now that Elsa no longer wanted to be her friend, she felt even more lonely than she had been before. Years later, Elsa met a boy and got married and had a beautiful daughter. Adana watched over them, though she never spoke to Elsa again. She watched when Elsa had gotten married. She watched when Elsa had found out for the first time that she was pregnant with her daughter. And she was there on the hospital roof and heard when Elsa gave birth to her daughter. Adana watched over them diligently, but never said a word. One weekend, while Elsa was going on a trip with her husband and baby, a truck careened around the bend, almost hitting their car. To avoid an accident, Elsa's husband swerved, but he escaped the jaws of danger, only to land into another set of jaws, and the car went over the cliff. As the car was falling, Elsa screamed with her eyes shut tightly. She opened them and saw the rocks coming up to meet them from below. Everything seemed to move in slow motion. They were going to crash and all meet their fate, when suddenly the car stopped in midair. It just hung there like a Christmas tree ornament, swaying slowly to and fro. And then it lightly ascended. Elsa looked at the rearview mirror and saw nothing. She had no idea what was picking up the car and flying with it. Soon, the car was put back on the road, right side up on its wheels. It was banged up a little bit, but it still worked, and they were going to be able to go to wherever it is their destination was. "I told you I would always be with you," said a voice, a very familiar voice that Elsa could never forget. "Adana." Although Elsa's husband was knocked out, he was okay, and the baby girl was still fastened in her car seat. Elsa got out of the car, and she looked back on the roof of the car. And finally, she was able to see what she'd wanted to all those years ago. Adana revealed herself. She was beautiful. She had eagle eyes and a long, slender beak, a very elegant and slender neck, large, bright wings that were scarlet, and a long tail with gold feathers at the end. She had smallish but feline-like legs, 4 of them, that clung to the car nervously. "Oh, Adana. Oh, it makes so much sense now." Not caring if anyone would be able to see them, Elsa went to the car, climbed on top of it, and hugged Adana. "I'm so sorry I was so mean to you. I wanted to speak to you so many times, but I thought that I wasn't worthy anymore. I felt ashamed, and that I wasn't worthy to be your friend anymore. I've always been there, Elsa. I never left you. I was always waiting for you to talk to me, always watching over you. I was there when you fell in love with Rick, who's now your husband. I was there when you got married to him. I was there when you conceived your first child. I was there when you gave birth to her. I was there through every joy that you experienced and every frustration. And even on your trip now, I was still with you." Elsa broke down and cried. She could not believe that her friend had been there for her for all this time, even after Elsa had treated her that way. As if she knew what Elsa was thinking, Adana took her feathered tail and raised Elsa's head to meet her eyes. "Child, don't be sad. It is a fault of mine. I should have never lied to you about your parents. I saw them laughing in a restaurant, and I thought that I just didn't want to be alone, and I didn't want you to be hurt. I was selfish, and I'm sorry." "It's okay, Adana. I forgave you a long time ago." The two hugged, but Adana could hear other vehicles coming along the road. "I have to leave. This is the last time you'll see me." Elsa nodded, wiping the tears away. She looked down the road and saw some cars. They slowed down, seeing that there was an accident. But when Elsa looked back to the roof of her car, Adana was gone. Elsa went on to have 4 more children, and she told them stories every night. "Mama," said one of her sons, "why is our town called the Wick?" "Well, because it's shaped like a candle wick." "Oh. And when it's night time and all the lights are on, it burns just like one." "Wow," said her children. "Can you tell us a story about that beast again?" Elsa smiled. She was so happy that her children were interested in the story, for she never got tired of telling it. "All right, this is the last story before bed." "Okay, Mama," they all said in unison. There once was a tale of a fantastic beast of the Wick. The end.